Greetings, YouTube. Once again, happy Thursday. 2019 has been such an interesting year for this game, both good and bad. I never thought I would say in a million years that I miss bounty missions, and yet I think most people could say that they knocked it out of the park last month. They had what was the worst event every year turn into one of the best. I miss having only 2 fights stand in the way of guaranteed 5-star shards every, 8 hours, and tier 5 basic fragments and 6-star shards and tier 2 alpha catalyst fragments, all the things that now are an RNG gamble in the greater last stand crystals. And if you saw my almost 20 opening this morning, you'll know that I barely got any 5-star shards, no 6-star shards. Of course, I don't think they even have 6-star shards, but no, very little tier 2 alpha catalyst, no tier 5 basic. And of course, unlike some people who keep sending me these must have broken the RNG or paid off Kabam Monopoly style multiple 5-star awakening gems in their greater last stand crystals, I did not even get a 4-star awakening gem because those are also somehow impossible to get in those. I say that to say that even with the latest, let's just nerf the enemies to the ground because no one's doing our monthly event in the most important month in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it is important to look at positive trends that are pro player, and that brings us to today's video because arena scores in 2019 were being threatened to just be so unobtainable for the average summoner that doesn't play this game 18 hours a day. There are those people who do this as their main job or their main hobby. I don't even know if they have a main job, but you see them grinding, 20 hours a day, it seems, like madmen and women, and hats off to those people if you can pull it off, but that is not indicative or realistic of the average summoner's experience with this hopefully more hobby than game lifestyle. And so we saw scores that were above 70 million points. And certainly, if you were lucky, in between 60 and 70 million points, which unless you have Odins upon Odins of refreshes or you're going to spend 60 hours over the course of 3 days of grinding, you're not going to get that 5-star champion. So I think we are finally at a point, especially in round 2 of the new featured champion, where I can confidently say that the scores are becoming obtainable, especially for people at the very bottom of the 5-star featured cutoff, which is about rank 125 to rank 150. So I definitely got my normal goal, which was the top 10%. I put up a score of 14 million, even though a score of around 12 million, maybe 12.5 million, gets it for you time and time again. So if you're wondering, what is it going to take? Normally for that 2,000 5-star shard, 200 6-star shard milestone, you want to get about 12.5 million. I don't think 13 million has been needed, but luckily I now have, I think it's 15 6-stars or 5 full arena teams to grind every 12 hours or so and throw in, and that gets me almost 1 million points by themselves, and I've never had to use units on refreshes to get to this point. But of course, I'm not grinding for that new champion. And I only know the exact cutoff because part of this is a surprise shout out to somebody in my alliance. I have absolutely adored being in this alliance. For my needs, it is the best alliance in Marvel Contest of Champions. And we can see, if we go to the leaderboard of this cutoff, that there is going to be a name that I think is worth discussing because it is a name that, again, is straight from my alliance. And I have actually written down the cutoff, but you can see I didn't even make a place, of course, but I'm in the top 10%. But when you go down to place 150, we're talking about the last golden ticket handed for this 5-star Ronin second round featured event. And you go all the way down. Congrats to all of you that I'm going by that qualified. But this is a guy, he said openly he did not think he would get him. He just kind of on his own time did this. He did not throw all his units his way. And in my alliance of AOA, his name is Pager, and he is placed 150 with a very obtainable, especially for somebody with a large 6-star roster who's been playing this game for several years, 35,742,351 points. 35 million is half of where we thought this was going to have to come in so many of the past featured arena grinders. It's half of 70. And it's not anywhere close to 50 or 60. The difference between having to grind for 50, even 40 million versus 35 is nice. And even though it's going to fluctuate from time to time, Ronin seemed to be the champion that most people were as excited to get this month as ever. And so to see the 35 million point cutoff in a year that has doubled that as a fear of what it could be, it's very encouraging to the community. I just want to say, Kabam, please keep up the work of booting people who run bots or any kind of automatic algorithm in the arena. There are people who run programs that I do not understand, but I know they somehow in the span of 3 days come up with these 80, 90 million points, which of course just drive up the scores and artificially inflate them. And for a long time, Kabam ignored that issue to the detriment of the average player. But they've said that they are publicly committed to ending that. And I think it's going to take them doing that more than just once every 3 to 4 months where they go in and they actually try to detect it. Because to the average player that's trying this fair and square, they deserve to have a fair opportunity to get the new featured champion or the featured champion that happens to be a top-tier champion, like I say, a Captain America Infinity War like we saw a few weeks ago. So are you excited to know that 35 million points got you the cutoff? I'm so sorry for everybody place 151 and below. Prayers to these people who must have just missed it by maybe even one round of fights. It's always really painful to see that. But I'm encouraged to see this trend. It's definitely worth a video because anytime I can give some positive news instead of just more bugs or more headaches or more terrible rewards that don't justify difficulty, I want to do it. So thanks to everybody who continues to send me these arena updates so I can update the community with scores in real time. Have a great Thursday, YouTube. Thanks for watching.